Hey there, it's Brad Gilbo with the BWG Realty Group. I'm bringing you a summer 2025 real estate market recap for the greater Los Angeles area. Now, I tend to get a little wordy in these videos, so I'm really gonna try to just hit through the bullet points. So the short story is that if you're thinking of buying or selling or wanna better understand this market, reach out, we can get really nerdy and kind of dive into everything. Okay, what are we experiencing right now? First off, this market has slowed. We're about 38% reduction in pending transactions, meaning homes that are under contract, than we were a year ago. This is mainly due to three things. One is that buyer interest has significantly decreased. Interest rates are higher, home values haven't come down, and buyers just are not feeling the urgency of having to fight and getting into a property today. The second thing that we're seeing is that we are still undersupplied with inventory, right? So as more supply comes on the market, that typically means that home values will come down. But we're actually seeing that we're about 35% lower in inventory than we were pre-COVID pricing. And part of that is because sellers are actually delisting their homes if they're not able to get the prices that they want. And that brings me to the third thing that I want to talk about, which is that there are no distressed properties, or very, very few. Most sellers either have equity in their home or a low interest rate, and there's no need or financial duress that's forcing them to lower the price or to motivate them to sell sooner as opposed to later. So what we're getting here is basically both sides, meaning sellers and buyers, that are waiting to see what's gonna happen, staying firm in their position with a lack of urgency, and it's unclear how things are gonna unfold. Now let's talk about what that could mean for the coming 6 months for buyers and sellers. Well, first off, no one knows when interest rates are going to get reduced or if they're going to go up, but it seems likely that a reduction is the next move. There's speculation about that happening in September, but who really knows? So expect that if you're a seller, number one, days on market is increasing. In fact, we're about 60 to 65 days on market on average, which is more than double where we were a year ago. It would not be that surprising to get to 90 or 100 plus days, meaning when you list your home until when you accept an offer, it could be, again, 3 to 4 months would not be unreasonable over the second half of the year. The second thing for sellers is that you really have to have your house dialed in. Buyers are not settling. If your house isn't a 10 out of 10, you should really consult or figure out what you could do to get it to be a 10 out of 10, or expect that you're probably gonna have to make some concessions on the price. Buyers do not want projects, they do not want unfinished homes. The second thing, or the last thing rather, the third thing is when you're selling your home, you have to price it right. If we present a range of possible values to our sellers, the sellers that have chosen to list at the higher end of that range, their properties have sat on the market for longer, oftentimes eliciting fewer or zero offers, and it just doesn't get you the motivation that you want from interested parties. So price it right, expect longer days on market, and make sure that your house is presented super well, or price it accordingly if it's not. Now on the buying side, there's less competition right now, so you don't need to settle, and you could be more aggressive in your pricing and your terms that maybe you were a year ago. Now, that being said, if it's an entry-level home or entry-level pricing, or if this house is totally done up and looks incredible, we're seeing that those homes are still selling faster, oftentimes with multiple offers, and could be over asking price. So it really depending on which property you're looking at, what the concerns are, but ultimately, it's still competitive on homes presented well, priced right, but on other properties that you have a little bit of a vision or they've been sitting on the market longer, you can potentially be more aggressive. The last thing that I would say is that even though interest rates have stayed higher for longer and no one has a crystal ball, it seems likely that when the Fed lowers interest rates, that buyer activity and home values are going to increase. So be prepared. If you find the property you love, write an offer, lock it up. The you 5 years in the future is going to be so thrilled that you did that. Don't worry about what the interest rate is here or there. You can always refinance in the future if and when rates come down to a number that makes sense. Again, this is a lot. If you want to know more about what this market could mean for you on the buying or selling side, or if you just want to pick our brain about anything else that's going on, reach out, give us a call today. We're more than happy to help.